Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to Vision Academy. March 4 கான daily current affairs பார்க்கலாம். The first news is Andhra Pradesh government can't change capital. Andhra Pradesh High Court on Thursday directed the state government to construct and develop Amravati, the capital city of the state and the capital region within 6 months. In a significant observation, the High Court held that the state legislature lacked the competence to make any legislation for shifting, bifurcating or trifurcating the capital. அதாவது ஆந்திராவிலிருந்து தெலுங்கானா மாநிலம் தனியாக பிரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஹைதராபாத் தெலுங்கானாவுடைய நிரந்தர தலைநகரமா மாறிடுச்சு. இதனால ஆந்திராவுக்கு குண்டூர் விஜயவாடா இடையே மாநிலத்தின் மைய பகுதியில் ஒரு தலைநகரம் சந்திரபாபு நாயுடு அவங்களோட ஆட்சியின் போது இந்த பகுதியில் உள்ள விவசாயிகளிடமிருந்து நிலங்கள் கேட்கப்பட்டு அமைக்கப்படுவதாக இருந்தது. இதுக்கு விவசாயிகளும் நிலங்களை வழங்கியிருந்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஜெகன்மோகன் ரெட்டி ஆட்சிக்கு வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறமா அமராவதியில சட்டப்பேரவையும் கர்னூல்ல நீதிமன்றம் விசாகப்பட்டினத்துல தலைமை செயலகம் செயல்படும் அப்படின்னு ஒரு சட்ட திருத்த மசோதா கொண்டு வந்தாங்க. அதை பற்றினதான ஒரு நியூஸ் தான். Let's see it elaborately. A 3-judge bench headed by Chief Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra and consisting of Justices M. Satyanarayana Murthy and Somayajulu gave the final verdict after hearing in a case relating to a bunch of writ petitions led by landowners of Amaravati to declare that the state government had no legislative competence to change the capital or remove Amaravati from being the capital of 3 civic wings: legislature, executive and judiciary. So இதுக்கான தீர்ப்பு கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. After SC order, Maharashtra says no polls till OBC observation is restored. State government likely to introduce resolution in budget session after the Supreme Court on Thursday refused to accept the interim report by Maharashtra State Backward Classes Commission recommending 27% reservation for OBC in local bodies. The state cabinet passed a resolution to not hold polls till the quota is restored. Senior OBC leader and minister Chhagan Bhujbal said the state cabinet is unanimous on not holding polls until the OBC quota is restored. The Backward Classes Commission will provide the necessary data on political representation of OBCs in local bodies to the Supreme Court if it is shared by the State Election Commission. We will prepare the report once again, but we are of strong view that no elections should be held until OBC reservation is restored. OBC ரிசர்வேஷன் ரெஸ்டோர் பண்ற வரைக்குமே போல்ஸ் எல்லாமே ஹோல்ட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க அக்கார்டிங் டு SC ஆர்டர். சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டோட ஆர்டர் படி draft legislation suggests 2-year jail for Nokku Kuli. Proposed amendments to Act sent to Labour Minister. A draft proposal to amend the Kerala Headload Workers Act of 1978 with a provision for up to 2 years of imprisonment and a fine of 1 lakh for a worker demanding Nokku Kuli gawking fee is awaiting ministerial note. Major changes including substitution of the expression headload workers with loading and unloading workers and skilling them to also handle delicate and sophisticated articles which they are banned from handling at present manually or with the help of machinery are part of the proposals drafted by the Kerala Headload Workers Welfare Board KHWWB and the nettooned by the Labour Department. The draft amendments have been sent to Kerala Labour Minister V. Sivankutti. It is learned according to the draft which has been assessed by Hindu, loading and unloading worker would mean a person engaged or employed directly or through a contractor in or for an establishment, whether for wages or not, for loading or unloading or carrying manually or using any machinery. The suggestion is that the KHWWB will train the workers to handle articles with due care and diligence and to use various machines. It prescribes imprisonment of up to 2 years or with a of up to a lakh or both for claiming work as a loading and unloading worker without a valid and subsisting registration. The KHWWB would be authority to notify prescribed wages as per the proposed amendments. Validity of registration granted to a loading and unloading worker would be for a period of 2 years, with its renewal subject to the worker proving that it is his livelihood. The next news is Quad meets amid tensions over Ukraine. The Quad summit that comes after an in-person meeting of leaders of 4 countries in Washington in September last year will be followed by another in-person summit in Tokyo in the coming months, the statement said. Officials said the Quad meeting was held in order to present a united front in the face of the Ukraine crisis and to underscore that Washington's new focus on the European conflict would not take away the grouping's commitment in the Indo-Pacific region. However, the leaders differed on the emphasis they put on the Ukraine crisis in separate messages. In a slightly different take, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said the Quad discussed the need to stop the use of force in the Indo-Pacific region in a statement appearing to liken China's aggression in the region to Russia's actions in Ukraine. The timing of the Quad meeting was particularly significant as Mr. Narendra Modi has held 2 lengthy conversations with Russian President Putin in the past week. They discussed the Ukraine crisis and the need for the safe evacuation of Indian citizens. Operation Blue Star veteran security cover downgraded. He is among those facing threat from pro-Khalistan group. The Uttar Pradesh government has downgraded the security cover of a retired brigadier who led Operation Blue Star at Amritsar's Golden Temple in 1984. Brigadier Israr Rahim Khan told that a lone policeman accompanies him now, that too when he steps outdoor against round-the-clock security provided to him all these years. Recently, Sikhs for Justice SFJ, a group advocating secessionist and pro-Khalistani activities in India, had offered $250,000 to anyone who could harm the team that led the operation, which includes Mr. Khan. Provocative video, the SFJ banned by the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2019, had recently posted a video detailing the role played by Brick Khan and others. This video was blocked and pulled down by YouTube on the request of the Indian government. The army veteran said he was earlier accorded Y category security by the MHA, which entailed 3 personal security officers who provide proximate security through the day and 6 others for house protection. A letter sent by Uttar Pradesh Local Intelligence Unit to Brick Khan on January 21 said it has been decided at a state level security meet that he will not be accorded X category security. Noida's Commissioner of Police Alok Kumar Singh did not respond to call or text message. Operation Blue Star was the code name of the army operation that cleared the Golden Temple complex, Sikhism's holiest shrine, or Sikh militants in 1984. The next thing is war in Ukraine and IPO market. What investors need to look at. Stock markets have taken a beating over the last 10 days following the Russian invasion of Ukraine. As oil prices continues to rise, the Sensex has lost 3.7% in the 5 trading sessions since February 24. This has raised concerns about the initial public offering IPO market, particularly upcoming IPOs, with 51 companies having received market regulator SEBI's approval for their IPOs. While the IPO market witnessed a boom in 2021, investors need to be wary about upcoming issues and should instead look at already listed companies that have good fundamentals. The concept behind this is initial public offering. So what is initial public offering? It means a stock launch is a public offering in which shares of a company are sold to institutional investors and usually also retail investors. An IPO is typically underwritten by one or more investment banks who has also arranged for the shares to be listed on one or more stock exchanges. Then the full form of SEBI is the Securities and Exchange Board of India. SEBI is a regulatory body for securities and commodity market in India under the ownership of Ministry of Finance, Government of India. It was established on 12 April 1988 and given statutory powers on 30 January 1992 through the SEBI Act 1992. In yet another Manipur election, AFSPA poll talk but not poll issue. While its repeal has long been a demand across the Northeast, it got a renewed push last December after the death of 14 Naga civilians in a botched up security ambush in Oting, Nagaland. Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA. In simple terms, AFSPA gives armed forces the power to maintain public order in disturbed areas. This is the meaning of AFSPA. They also have the authority to prohibit a gathering of 5 or more persons in an area, can use force or even open fire after giving due warning if they feel a person is in contravention of the law. If reasonable suspicion exists, the army can also arrest a person without a warrant, enter or search a premises without a warrant and ban the possession of firearms. Risk of RBI falling behind curve on inflation, member of monetary panel. Consumer price inflation, which crossed the RBI's upper tolerance level of 6% to 6.01% in January, is likely to hit the 7% mark as crude prices touched $116 per barrel recently. The RBI has retained its accommodative policy stance and main policy rates in the February policy review. Accommodative stance means the central bank is prepared to expand the money supply to boost economic growth. The central bank during an accommodative policy period is willing to cut the interest rates. Why NATO is not sending troops to Ukraine? So the reason is explained here. Russian invasion. Amid the war in Ukraine, NATO has been rapidly deploying troops to member countries across Eastern Europe. Why hasn't the alliance sent troops to Ukraine? What is Article 5 NATO's provision that could result in a wider war? North Atlantic Treaty. So according to North Atlantic Treaty, it also referred to as Washington Treaty, is a treaty that forms the legal basis of and is implemented by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that is called NATO. The key section of the treaty is Article 5. It commits each member state to consider an armed attack against one member state in Europe or North America to be an armed attack against them all. It has been invoked only once in NATO history by the United States after September 11 attacks in 2001. Government seeks time to frame wetlands draft notification. The state government on Thursday urged the High Court to grant 4 weeks for issuing a draft notification to notify 100 wetlands under the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules of 2017. So what is this Wetlands Rules of 2017? Constitution of State Wetland Authority. It has provisions for setting up of a State Wetland Authority, that is SWA, in every state and union territory to be headed by the Environment Minister of that respective state. It is to include a range of government officials, one expert each in the field of hydrology, socio-economics, landscape, planning, fisheries and wetland ecology. They will determine the wise use principle that shall govern the management of wetlands. Wise use, the term can be defined as the principles of sustainable use that are compatible with conservation. This has led to the decentralization of powers. So let's look into the questions. The first question is, SEBI got statutory status in the year of. The first option is 1990. Next is 1992. 1994, 1986. So the correct option is 1992. Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA power to maintain law and order in which areas? In disturbed areas. In NATO, it commits each member state to consider an armed attack against one member state in Europe or North America to be an armed attack against them all. That is given in which article? Just before we have seen, that was given in 5th Article 5. Wetlands, conservation and management rules came in the year of. So these rules came in the year of 2017. Okay, thank you all.